In this video, I'm gonna be showing you exactly how you can build a $50,000 per month revenue systems partner business in 2025. This is a full-length RSP course for free, and it's the exact same process that I've used to build my company Monetizer to 7 figures in 12 months and help students like Gus leave behind a $25,000 per month income and replace it in 48 hours, closing 2 rev share deals. Or Adam, who left his longtime corporate role and replaced his income closing 9 rev share clients, who in his first 32 days closed a $10,000 setup and locked in a 15% rev share on a business that's already doing $10 million per year. This isn't gonna be your basic start an agency video. This is a full-length guide on how you can start landing $15,000 to $50,000 payouts from single clients through strategic partnerships without trading your time for income. So let's go ahead, let's get right into it. An RSP is a revenue systems partner, and to keep it stupid simple, it's a partner in profit where you step in alongside all these online creators, anybody that sells any type of coaching online, anybody that sells a digital product, and you take control of the back end that actually drives revenue. That means how to actually position their offer to their audience, funnels, sales infrastructure, managing the sales team, marketing, lead generation, all of these things. And in return, you don't just earn a one-time 4-figure payment, you earn a percentage of the revenue you help generate month after month after month, resulting in payouts of upwards of $50,000 to $120,000 from single clients. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the traditional agency model, but in a traditional agency, your income is capped, you're constantly having to worry about client acquisition, and fulfillment becomes a headache because you have to work with so many people just to make a sustainable income. Now, when you're an RSP, your income is not capped. You never have to work with more than 3 to 5 clients at a time to scale to $50,000 per month. And you actually build long-term growth partnerships where you take upside in your client's success. You see, the reality of it is most of the people that you see making money online, driving the crazy cars, aren't actually making their money from the thing they're actually teaching. They're making their money from taking that thing and turning it into a coaching offer, and that is the real product. But the problem is most of these guys are experts in whatever they're teaching, but when it comes to sales and marketing at a high level, they have no idea what they're doing, which leaves a huge gap for us to be able to come in and sign these creators as RSPs. Now, before you can scale to $50,000 per month as an RSP, you need these fundamentals in place. You need to have a basic understanding of how these online coaching businesses actually work. That means how to actually position these offers to their audience, how to actually build the funnels, how to actually manage the funnels, how to generate leads, and how to actually inject these sales mechanisms in their businesses to convert people at a high ticket. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this right now probably have no experience actually running this model, and I'm here to tell you that is okay. As long as you can speak with 100% conviction in your ability to actually scale these creators, that's all that matters. As long as you speak clearly, you speak to simple problems, and you talk about the things that matter: money, systems, and scale. These creators will be more than willing to work with you, as they do not hire on experience, they hire on certainty. And when you come across as extremely confident, people will give you the time of day to actually work with them. Now, the foundation of your RSP business is identifying gold mine clients. So here's what I look for when going after these creators. First and foremost, there's 3 different places that I look: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Now, one thing that's important for you guys to know is a YouTube subscriber holds a lot more weight than an Instagram follower, right? So if someone only has 5,000 YouTube subscribers, that is an audience that we can absolutely monetize off of. Now, when we're looking at TikTok and Instagram specifically, the bare minimum follower count in these creators that we want to look for is 10,000 to 60,000 followers. If they have way more than that, that is awesome. If they have way less than that, it's gonna be very hard for us to help them monetize their audience at a big scale. So another important thing to note is that people can buy followers nowadays, right? So we want to actually do our due diligence, check out their page, make sure that their engagement matches their follower count. If it does, great. If not, go to the next guy and find another gold mine client. Now, you might be wondering, what type of clients do we actually want to go after? We want to target people that are in the make money niches. That means trading, e-com, real estate coaching, Airbnb arbitrage, content UGC. Any of these niches are great niches for us to work with because they're very easy, right? Because it's very easy to go to their audience, position a product in the right angle, and have them pay a high ticket price for something that they can get a direct return on their investment from, right? That's extremely easy for us to do. So we want to stay with the make money niches. Now, on the flip side, there's a few poverty niches that we want to avoid. Any of these like woo-woo offers that are like breathwork, dating, there's offers that help people quit their porn addictions. Like any of these weird offers, we don't want to work with. We want to stay away from. They're not as easy to monetize at scale to their audience, right? And so I know a lot of you guys are wondering, Grant, now that I know what a gold mine client looks like, how do I actually find them? And that is the easy part. On social media nowadays, you don't have to scroll very far to find people that are trying to sell education online. But the way that I do it is I actually go to Instagram and I search the niche that I'm looking for. So let's say I'm trying to find a trader. I'll go to Instagram, I'll go to the search bar and I'll search trader. and then I'll find traders that match that criteria that I just said, and then I'll go down what I like to call rabbit hole prospecting. So if I find one good trader, I'll check who he's following. Chances are he follows people that are very similar to him, and then so on until I find a bunch of good creators. Now, another easy way to do it is literally just go to ChatGPT, type in a prompt that says, find me people on Instagram that teach trading, that have 10,000 to 60,000 followers on their Instagram platform and have been posting online for over 2 years. ChatGPT will feed you a list of creators that match that. You can go pull that list and go message them right away. So it's very easy. You don't have to look far. They're everywhere nowadays. We just want to find the good ones, because one thing that's important for you guys to understand is every client we work with as RSPs requires the same amount of output, right? Now, obviously, the payouts aren't always the same. Some people pay you way more than others because we're on a rev share basis. So we want to make sure we're putting our time in vehicles that are worthwhile. If every single client requires the same amount of output, we have to be very careful with where we're putting our time and where we're putting our time. So knowing that, and knowing that the payouts aren't the same from every single client, I've had clients pay me $120,000 versus clients pay me $15,000. We want to be very careful with where we actually put our time. We want to only put it in vehicles that make absolute sense for us, right? So that's why it's important to not just work with any client, not outreach and prospect to any client. We want to stick to that strict criteria of what makes a good client and follow it to a T. Now, most people fail at prospecting because they spray and pray. This is the most inefficient way to build your RSP business. You don't have to go out there and message 100,000 people a month just to get a creator. It's not efficient. We want to be extremely efficient. We want to make our time worthwhile. So what I tell everybody to do is, instead of just outreaching to a bunch of people, spamming people day in, day out, sounding like a virtual assistant, right? We want to go grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and we want to write a list of 40 to 50 of your dream clients, whether they're big, small, medium, whatever it might be, 40 to 50 of the dream creators that you want to work with. And we want to live and die by that list. Now that you have this list, now that you have 50 people in front of you that match the criteria of a good client, we want to then just start to do some, research, right? We want to look into their audience. We want to look at their funnels. We want to look at their sales process. We want to look at their content. We want to see the offer that they're selling. And we want to just start to kind of like gauge a few things based off that. Right? What do we think their monthly numbers look like? What does their current sales process look like? Where could they potentially be going wrong? What content should they be posting? We want to just like start to almost test ourselves on what jumps out the page, right? That way it can be very easy for us to actually outreach and be surgical when we do so, right? Because when we outreach people, we want to actually have stuff that we're backing up. We don't just want to say, hey, I can help you, and have no evidence to back it up. We want to have evidence, right? So the first few days, you're going to want to go through that 50 people on your list, and you want to find things that they're doing wrong that we can help them, right? This gives us a very tailored approach, and it makes client acquisition extremely easy. So now that you have the list of people that you've identified as a dream client, it's important for us to actually go out and get in front of them. So the one client acquisition method that I love, the one that has found me the most success, the one that's the most efficient for me, is what I like to call the outbound shank. Now, the outbound shank, simply put, is literally just cold DMing these guys on Instagram. And the reason that I found success in it is because it's very easy for me to differentiate myself from all the other people that flood their inboxes all day long, because I know what I'm saying and I know how to actually speak clearly and send messages that get responses and that lead to book calls. So first and foremost, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take the list of people and you're gonna just start with a simple message on Instagram like, yo. Now, it sounds stupid, but the reason we wanna keep it super vague is because we're looking for responses, because when these people respond, we go to the top of the inbox, and it's very likely that we'll continue to be open and our messages will get seen as we continue to send them because they've already responded once. So the reason we're sending a yo message is these people sell courses, they're money hungry. They don't know if we're reaching out because we want to send them money. They have no idea, right? So they're much more inclined to respond. Now, once we actually get a response, this is the important part. We don't want to send them a bunch of messages via text. We want to send them a voice note right away, and it's important we respond in a timely fashion. So an example voice note that you can send to these guys is something like, hey Luke, every time I open the Instagram app, I'm flooded with your content. I cannot escape it. So I did my due diligence and I looked at your feed and I see that you're actually selling a trading offer. And when I went through your sales funnel as if I was a lead, I quickly found a ton of gaps. Now, I'm not here to tell you you're not making any money. I'd be very naive to think that you're not making any money selling this service, but I'm here to tell you that you are 100% leaving a good chunk of money on the table every single month because of the way that you have your thing set up. So what I have done, bro, is I've listed out a bunch of different things for what you're doing wrong and what I would do differently to help you make a lot more money than you're currently making. I'm very confident, I even guarantee it. I just want to get on a call with you. When is a good time to chat? That is an easy voice note that you can send to any and every creator that responds. You don't have to leverage proof. Now, if you have testimonials, go ahead and leverage them, but it's not about experience. It's about sounding confident that you can deliver them results and that you can help make them more money. All these people care about is making money. So sound confident, and these people will give you the time of day. Now, one thing that's important for you guys to realize is you're not always just gonna get responses to these voice notes right away, right? Sometimes they're gonna come instantly, sometimes they're never gonna come, sometimes they're gonna come 3 weeks after you send them. It really just depends. So one thing that's really important for you to realize is following up with these clients is the name of the game. Don't just send one DM and expect them to just all close, right? The reason that I've been able to have a tremendous success in the DMs is because I follow up relentlessly. To give you a prime example, literally last month in July, I landed one of my biggest clients ever. And when I went back and actually looked at the DM sequences that I'd been sending this guy, my first message that I ever sent to him of yo-yo came 1 year prior to me actually finally landing him. Literally a year of following up with him, a year of sending him memes, a year of doing a bunch of different things to actually get his attention is what finally led to me closing him. So I want you guys to understand, just because you send a voice note does not mean that they're gonna just respond. That's why we have a list of only 50 people. We don't need 100, we don't need 200 people, we need 50 people, and that is our list. So as you send these voice notes, some will reply, some won't, but it's important to continuously follow up with the people on your list and don't let them escape, right? Send them messages like, hey, bumping this. Another thing that I do is, I put on story notifications on their actual Instagram. So I know as soon as they post that they're active. So as soon as I get the alert that, hey, they're active on Instagram, I'll send them a message and I'll slide up, be like, hey, love this is sick. Or I'll do a simple message that will actually get their attention. And then maybe I'll resend a voice note again, right? You just want to get creative. Acquisition is all about being creative. And the more creative you are, the more clients you will land. And another few ways that you can follow up with these guys, aside from just like sending basic messages and putting on their story notifications so you know when they're active, is sending them memes. Send them funny memes, send them proof, leverage things that you've done in the past. Maybe it's sale, like leverage anything and everything and send it to them over and over again. Volume negates luck. The more messages that you send, the better chance you have at actually signing these guys as clients. Now, another thing that's extremely important for you to know when you're actually going and using the outbound shank is we don't want to stay in the DMs forever. We want to be extremely efficient, and every DM that we send should lead towards us getting on a call with them, right? We don't have time to sit there and text them like they're our girlfriends. Neither do they have time to sit there and text us like we're their girlfriends, right? We want to be extremely efficient. Every voice note you send, every follow-up message should be towards getting on a call. Try and stay in the DMs for the least amount of time possible and get on a Zoom call, because that's where it becomes extremely easy, and that's what actually leads to these deals closing. So that is the outbound shank. Another way that I actually go about landing clients is what I like to call the backdoor shank. This is what I use when I'm trying to sign big whale clients that have 300 to 500,000 followers on Instagram, because I realized if I just continue to send these big guys messages, they'll probably never see it, right? They don't run their Instagrams, they have setters on MiniChat running it. So I had to get extremely creative, and this backdoor shank is what actually landed me my biggest client ever, who's paid me $120,000 for 30 days of my work. Now, the outbound shank, what it is it's literally funnel hacking these big guys, going into their sales processes and speaking with their sales team directly, the setters, the closers, and incentivizing them to actually connect you to someone that's a decision maker or a higher level person in the business, maybe even the creator himself. And the way that you'll actually do that is you'll tell them, hey, listen, I'm gonna help them make way more money. Speak clearly, show them that you know what you're talking about, and tell them in return, hey, listen, when I come on and I help this creator make a lot more money, it's only gonna lead to you making way more money, because if the business is doing better, your commissions are gonna only keep going up. So you'll incentivize them that way, but then you'll also incentivize them by just telling them, hey, listen, if you connect me with the offer owner and I actually go about closing him, I'll gladly send you $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 just for actually landing me that connect, right? So these guys are gonna be very inclined to actually go out there, connect you with someone way higher than them in that current business, and then you can kind of do your magic and make a pitch deck, do all that, and land the deal from there. But that's literally how I landed Mamba FX, from talking to a sales rep and finessing my way up higher, up higher, up higher, until I finally talked to Mamba and closed them on a Zoom call. Now, once you've actually gone out and started utilizing some of these acquisition methods to book calls for your business, it's important for you guys to understand how to actually close a B2B sales call. So this is the exact process that I follow to close 95% of qualified creators that I jump on with. First and foremost, you have to have some type of pre-call preparation, right? If you're in school and you show up to take a test, you don't study, you're not gonna do well, right? Or if you played a sport and you show up to the game without practicing, you're not gonna perform, right? Same thing with us, we have to prepare. So right off the bat, what I'll do is I'll do some research, right? I'll go to the creator that I have a call booked with, I'll go to his social platforms, I'll go to his sales process, and I'll try and identify 3 to 5 revenue gaps where he is currently losing money. Now, the reason I like to identify these gaps is because it gives me ground to stand on when I come onto the call and I tell him, hey, I can help you, I can make you more money. It shows that I actually know what I'm talking about. Now, once I have these 3 to 5 revenue gaps, I'll take the information that I found and I'll download a software like Beautiful AI, plug all that information in, and have it make me a professional pitch deck that I can screen share on Zoom to give me authority, to make it look like I came extremely prepared and that I'm extremely professional. Now, lastly, once you have 3 to 5 revenue gaps identified, once you have a professional pitch deck made using AI, it's important for us to come prepared with a variety of different deal structures, right? On sales calls, we never know what's gonna happen. We never know what the prospect is gonna say. So we wanna be prepared for anything and everything. So now that you've done your pre-call preparation, it's time to actually do the fun part and get on the sales call and close these clients, right? So when the sales call actually happens, it's gonna be broken up into 5 different parts. The first one is just gonna be about setting the authority. The first 5 minutes of the call, you're just gonna want to establish that you're a professional and that you have authority and you call the shots on the call, right? If you can do that, it'll go a long way and you'll close a lot more people. So when I first get on a call, I'll typically start it off with something like, hey Luke, appreciate you taking time out of your day to actually speak with me. I know you probably get tons of people that send you messages all day long and a bunch of people that waste your time. I'm not here to waste your time. In fact, I'm here to do the opposite. I'm here to make you more money. Now, a little bit of context on me and then give some background on you. And then at the end say, listen, and when I work with people, when I actually take on people, I work with people that I'm 100% confident I can actually move the needle for. So if I am, dude, I'll show you exactly what I can do. If not, I'm gonna tell you and I'm gonna be extremely honest with you and we'll go our separate ways and hopefully we can each take something from this call. Sound cool? That's how I'll start the intro to a B2B sales call. Now, the second part of the call is what I like to call the discovery. This is the meat and potatoes of the call. This is very important because this is kind of where we gather all of our ammunition for us to actually deliver a high value tailored pitch, right? We'll kind of figure out everything about their monthly revenue numbers, where they're currently struggling, what their sales process looks like, and we'll gather a bunch of information so that way we can position what we do to fix it in a better way. Now, the third part of the call is gap identification. And this is where we take everything that we found pre-call, the 3 to 5 things that we put on a list, right, that we put on a pitch deck, and we make them realize what they're doing wrong, right? We want them to realize that there's a gap that they need to fix if they want to make more money. So this is kind of when we'll put that in their face and make them realize. Now, the fourth part of the call is very important. It's what I like to call the prescription process. And this is when we'll help them realize everything that we would do to fix the gaps that we've identified. How exactly we'll go about it, what we would do right away, what we would fix later on, everything that we would do to help them make more money. This is when we'll prescribe it to them. Now, the fifth part of the call is when the fun begins. This is when you want to anchor your value and you want to quantify the cost of your service. You want to quantify why you actually charge the way you do. And then you want to present the partnership. So the pitch deck that AI made for us, we want to screen share and we want to present the partnership in full detail. And when we present it, we want to make it tailored to them, right? We don't want to just talk about things that we do on a broad scale, right? We want to talk about things that we would do for them, right? When businesses take on new growth partners, they want it to be tailored and very specific. And they want to know that there is without a doubt, no chance in the world that it will fail, right? So you want to make them extremely confident in their decision. And you want to do that by presenting a great presentation, right? And you want to make it extremely custom tailored. So this is the fifth part of the call, and this is where the deal often closes. And if you've done everything right throughout this process of the call, the deal will close and it'll be extremely easy and you'll get to work. But on these sales calls, some key psychology for you guys to actually pick up on and note is that we're not actually selling, we're just consulting, right? We want to just make them realize that we know what we're talking about and that we can actually help them. And once they realize that, it's a very easy sale, right? We don't have to come on and hard sell and have commission breath and try and get these guys over the line through extreme objection handling. That's not how you close B2B deals. You close B2B deals by knowing what you're talking about and coming prepared. And as long as we can come prepared and know what we're talking about and consult instead of sell, we'll easily be able to close 95% of all creators that jump on calls with us if we follow the 5-step process and remember these key psychology methods. So once you've gotten on a B2B sales call, you've prepared accordingly, you've structured the call correctly, and you've actually shown them how you can help, it's time to actually present your offer and structure the deal in a way that leaves you with tremendous upside. Now, where most people go wrong when trying to run this business model is they structure every single deal for every single creator the exact same way. When you're structuring deals, you want to be extremely situational, right? Not every creator is going to have the same deal. To put that in perspective for you, like I said, every single client we sign as an RSP takes the same amount of workload from us, right? We don't have to work with a ton of clients, so we want to be very careful about where we put our time. Some clients have paid me $120,000 for 30 days, some have paid me $15,000, and they all take the same amount of work. So what I mean by this, if you're signing a creator that only has 10,000 followers on Instagram and doesn't have a big following, we just want to do a setup deal, right? It's not going to incentivize us to sign them on a rev share. We just want to get our money and get out, right? So what we can do is we can do a $3,000 to $6,000 or $3,000 to $10,000 setup fee. We can just set up all the processes, all the systems, and we can leave. We can get our money and leave. Whereas if you're signing someone that has 50,000 or 30,000 followers on Instagram, has a big audience that we can monetize off of, we want to sign them on a rev share, right? Because that means we're going to have tremendous upside in their growth. Now, to put this in perspective for you guys, when I first signed Mamba, he was only doing $32,000 per month. Now, $32,000 per month on a 20% rev share isn't much, but the reason I only pitched rev share for him is because I knew I was going to make him a ton of money and I knew the opportunity that I was sitting on. So I pitched him only 20%. I didn't ask for anything up front. And sure enough, in the first 30 days working with him, I got him to $396,000 in revenue, meaning I got paid over $70,000 for 30 days of my work, all because of 20% rev share. Now I want you to imagine if I went to Mamba and I asked him for $10,000 up front and I was super stingy on trying to get paid right away, instead of playing the long game and trying to grow through a rev share, right? I would have missed out on so much money. And in my first 8 months working with Mamba, I generated him $4.8 million in revenue on a 20% rev share. You do the math, right? It's an insane amount of money. So every single creator is gonna have a different deal. Some creators I'll sign them on 3 to 5K setup. If it's a referral, if it's a very easy deal and they're very keen to working with me, I'll sign them on a setup fee and then I'll sign them on a rev share. Some people like Mamba, I'll just sign on a rev share. You wanna be very situational, right? But when you see tremendous upside, fuck the setup fee, right? We don't care about it. That's not how we're gonna make our money. We can just sign them on a rev share. The way you can structure rev share is you typically wanna go anywhere between 15 to 25% of a business, right? If you're going for 25%, it's gonna be a smaller creator. If you're going for a big whale like Mamba, all you need is 15 to 20%. And the way that you're gonna help them justify this is, hey, look, I want to be incentivized, I'm a strategic growth partner, and I'm all in on your business, right? That means if you start to make more money, yes, I'm going to be compensated, but I'm not going to make money unless you start to make a lot more, right? So it's very easy for you to position a no-brainer offer and make it make sense for them. And all the contracts that I sign are cancel anytime, right? So hey, look, dude, if you work with me for 30 days and you don't like it, you can cancel, but you're going to help these creators make so much more money through our fulfillment systems that they're going to want to work with you forever, and you're going to lock them in on a rev share, and it's a very easy to entry deal. Right? It's not like you're going in there and you're asking for, $20,000 up front. You're literally just asking for a percentage base of their revenue, right? So it's very easy to land these clients. And it's very easy to structure deals. So some important things for you to know. If they're a smaller creator, if they only have very minimal engagement, let's say they only have 10,000 to 15,000 followers on Instagram, they don't have much, just go for a setup fee, get your money and get out. But if you're talking with a bigger creator that has a big following, that has an engagement that you can easily monetize off of, go for only a rev share. You don't need a setup fee. That's not how you're gonna make your money. You're gonna make your money on making them a lot more, and you're gonna be getting paid on that rev share. So it's very important for you to be very situational when you're structuring these deals. Not every deal is the same, not every creator is the same. The more situational you are, the more money you're gonna make long term. Now, once you've gotten on the closing call, once you've structured a deal to make you a lot of money, it's time to actually start fulfilling, which is the fun part. And I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the people on YouTube don't actually know how to fulfill at a high level. I've generated over $12 million in 10 months for the creators that I've worked with, and I've done it by following this basic fulfillment process. You wanna get to fulfilling very, very fast, right? When you sign a creator, you wanna get to it. So in the first day, what I'll typically do when I sign a client is I'll do an onboarding call with them, right? I'll gather a bunch of information about who they are, what their offer looks like, what the pricing typically looks like, what their sales team looks like, who they have that's a high performer, all these different things, and I'll gather it on the first onboarding call. So right away, what I'll do is I'll script a VSL for them using AI. I'll send it to them, I'll tell them, hey, go film it, right? Go record this and try and film it in the first 2 days, right? While they're doing that, I'll then start to build out their landing page, right? I'll build out their landing page with good copy. I'll utilize AI to help me do that, right? Position their offer to their audience in a good way. I'll set up all the Zapier automations. I'll set up closed CRM with all the smart views for the sales team to actually start converting these leads. I'll set up all the processes, right? I'll do the type form, the Slack for team communication, and I'll pretty much start this process of setting it up. We want to start fulfilling extremely fast. This is what I'll do on just the first day of signing them. Now on day 2 of fulfillment, after I've built out the closed CRM, after I've done all the Zaps, after I've done Slack for team communication, after I've had my onboarding call, after I have my client going to film the VSL, and I've started to build out his landing page, this is when I'll start to actually go out and hire and source sales reps, right? We're looking for closers, we're looking for setters, right? That are trained, that have experience. That way we can start to sell this guy's offer in an efficient way, right? After that, I'll then go out and I'll set up all the payment processor integrations, Fanbasis, WAP. That way we can start using financing. We can actually start collecting payment at a high level. Oftentimes these creators don't even use the right payment processor for their business, right? Fanbasis and WAP are the ones that I typically use because they offer financing, which means we can sell people even if they have no money. Now on day 3 of fulfilling, this is when I'll get extremely hands-on with all things sales. I'll take the normal SOPs that I typically run for all my clients and I'll start to custom tailor it to the specific offer. That means all setting framework, closing frameworks, literally everything that the sales team is gonna live and die by. I'll start custom tailoring it to this offer, and then I'll also start to script out launch call to actions for the Instagram sequences when we're ready to roll. And then what I'll do is I'll schedule a call with their creator to show them everything that I've set up in the first 3 days, right? All the systems, the closed CRM, the Zaps, the Slack for team communication, where I'm at in the interviewing process for the sales reps, I'll schedule a call to walk them through everything and keep them up to date with where I am in the fulfillment process. Now on day 4 of the fulfillment process, this is when everything gets fun, and I'll go over everything that I've just done. I'll go over the CRM that I built out, the automations that I've set up, the Slack setup that I've done for team communication, the SOPs that I've built custom tailored to this offer. I'll go over everything and make sure it's ready to roll, and we can start rolling in a ton of money fast. And the last step before actually launching, I'll onboard the sales reps that I've got from the interview process, and I'll get them ready to go. I'll give them the sales SOPs, and I'll make sure they're ready to roll so we can start bringing in money right away. Keep in mind, this is just in the first 4 days, right? And I know a lot of this sounds complex, but when you have a proven system that works for all of these steps, it's very easy. Like, all of these steps take very minimal time, and now it's a plug and play system for me. So each time I sign a client, I set up the basic things, I onboard the reps, I interview reps, I have calls with the creators to update them on the fulfillment process, I script the CTAs for the actual launch, and boom, we're ready to roll. Right? That is it. It's that simple. Now, one thing that's important for you guys to note, for the creators that I sign, I run one of 2 funnels. The first funnel that I run is VSL to application. This one is very, very easy, and it's the bread and butter. It's the one I've used for Mamba. And this is what I found a lot of success with, because I train my sales teams on very strict SOPs, and if they follow them correctly, this funnel works perfectly. What a VSL to application funnel is typically you have a landing page, you have a VSL that people watch, and then you have an apply button under it that people send in an application to. It's not a direct book a call. They send in an application, it zaps to the CRM, and then you have a highly trained sales team that actually calls and qualifies these people, and if they're qualified, we get them on a sales call right away. We don't wait to get them on a sales call. We don't wait till they're available. We push to get people on calls right away, and we book what we call live calls, right? Time kills all deals in B2C sales, and we want to cut and eliminate all the time in between people applying to actually closing, right? So if we have someone apply right away, we qualify them, we make sure that they're a good lead, and boom, we get them ready to roll. They get on with the closer right away. The show rate is extremely high, and the close rate is extremely high, right? Because we have qualified leads getting on with speed, and it's very, very easy. So this is the first funnel that I run. This is the one that I've run for Mamba and a lot of my big creators. It's VSL to application. It's very easy to set up. As long as you have a good sales team trained on great SOPs, you have a great CRM setup ready for these leads, and you have a VSL that is built to convert. Now, the second funnel that I run for my clients is a direct book a call funnel. This is one that I typically use if my clients are getting leads off paid traffic, but I don't like it as much, right? Because in a direct book a call funnel, people are watching a VSL, then they're getting qualified through a type form, and the type form is qualifying them and seeing if they're good enough to actually get on a sales call. And if they are, it gives them a direct book link. We don't have like any control on when they book, how they book, anything like that. That's why I kind of like the human touch point of a setter in a VSL to application funnel, right? Being able to kind of be in control of all these things, push leads to get on calls way sooner and handle that, right? But this funnel works well for some clients. It's very situational, and I typically run it if they're running paid traffic. But the sweet spot and where I found most of my success is VSL to application funnels. Now, one thing that's important for you guys to realize is how to actually build out these application questions, right? All you want to do is get their first and last name, get their contact info, meaning phone number and email, and then you want to kind of start to judge on intent, right? So you want to ask open-ended question like what their goals are in the next 3 to 6 months, what they're struggling with, why they feel like they'd be a good fit for the program. Then you can financially qualify them, right? You can ask a question like, hey, if this was a perfect fit in a perfect world, right, would you be in a position to be able to invest in growing or scaling your business or whatever it might be for your niche or audience? And then you can have multiple choice of like, you know, yes, I have $1,000 to $5,000 set aside. Yes, I have a 650 plus credit, or no, I want to, but I don't have the resources, right? You can kind of do applications like that, but these are key questions that you're going to want to add, whether you're doing a book a call funnel or VSL to application. These are good application questions. Now, one thing that's important for you guys to realize when you're becoming an RSP is the teams that you actually build out, you have to actually manage them and be their sales manager, and you have to be effective with it, right? If you want to help make the creator a lot of money, the sales team has to be very dialed in. The way you can do this is by being a very good leader, getting people bought in and working towards a common goal. If you set a goal for the company and you want to help them make $400,000 in a single month, you have to get the sales team bought in on that goal. Right? If the sales team's not bought in on the goal, it's never going to happen. These are the guys that actually bring in the revenue. So we have to be very hands-on, and we have to communicate at a high level. Right? Typically what I'll do with the teams that I run is I'll set meetings Monday, Wednesday, Friday with them, right? Basic touch points in the morning so I can get a good idea of what's going wrong, what's going well, and I'll double down and fix or improve on, right? Or double down on things that are going good, right? We want to be very, very talkative with the sales team so we can have a good feedback loop. And we want to set strict SOPs, right? I talked about it earlier when I was talking about actually fulfilling, but we want good SOPs for the sales guys to follow. If we have good SOPs, it becomes very easy. Your job is very minimal. All you have to do is show up 3 times a week on a meeting and make sure that they're actually following and, you know, actually doing the things that are in the SOPs, right? For instance, an example of an SOP is, hey, if a lead opts in, you're supposed to call it in 5 minutes. Speed to lead is everything. That is an SOP. So it's basically like an instruction manual for them to follow and essentially live and die by, right? If we have good leadership we communicate with our sales team, and we have good SOPs in place, sales management becomes extremely easy. All you have to do is show up 3 times a week on a meeting with them and make sure they're doing the things that you have in place. Now, one thing that makes our job extremely easy as RSPs is AI, right? AI can do a lot of the heavy lifting for us when it comes to scripting VSLs, writing emails, doing copy for the landing page, doing competitive research to see what other people in your client's niche are doing. Like, all these things AI can do for you, right? And if you're not going to utilize it, it's going to increase your workload drastically. So I encourage you, use AI, right? For instance, if you want to write a VSL for your client, right, don't spend the time to write a 10-minute long video script, right? Go to AI, plug in their YouTube link, plug in their Instagram link, plug in their offer, right? What they're actually offering, and tell AI to write you a VSL in, a style that's very good. It ties to the emotion, builds credibility, and gets people to want to apply or book a call. And AI will give you a perfect VSL, right? Tell it the exact time frame you want. Tell them if you want a 10-minute long VSL, a 5-minute long VSL, and give it all that information, and it'll do it perfectly for you, right? Or if you want to do the copy for the landing page, literally just take all that information and say, hey, I'm trying to position my offer in the most perfect way to this guy's audience. Help me do it through good call to actions and good descriptions throughout the landing page. Help me build credibility and do all the copy for me. Say, hey, I need a header, I need a good description, I need good copy for the actual book a call button. I need all these things, and AI will do it for you, and it'll do it at a higher level than you can do it, right? AI is better than any human, so utilize it. It'll make your job so much easier when you're trying to become an RSP and fulfill for your clients. So if you've made it this far, you already have a huge understanding for how to be an RSP. You know how to find good clients, book calls with them, close the deal, structure the deal accordingly, fulfill for them. You already know a lot, right? So some basic advice I have for you is when you're working with these clients and as your client portfolio starts to grow as an RSP, really focus on testing things and constantly optimizing things for your clients, right? Because you want to make your clients more money, because in return, you will make money on rev share, right? So you constantly want to test things, you constantly want to be in feedback loops with your sales guys, and you constantly want to be optimizing things, right? Hey, if a client's selling at too high of a ticket, maybe you drop the ticket and conversion goes way up, right? Or hey, maybe your client's selling for way too cheap and you raise the price and now your client's making way more money, right? You constantly want to be optimizing things, that way your clients can scale, that way your income can scale as well, right? Now, in return, on this, I want to tell you, you don't have to work with a ton of people, right? You really don't. I've made most of my money working with only core people in my portfolio and helping them make more money. Like, I've had single clients pay me $120,000 for 30 days of my work. I don't need to go out and work with everyone. And I found the most success working with people when I'm very dialed in on a specific number of people in my portfolio, right? So once you start to get clients, focus on them, test things with them, and only add clients. Add a new client maybe like every 30 to 60 days or every 30 to 90 days, right? That's the only time you really need to add a new client. And then you can also build systems for you to scale your own business, right? Maybe you don't want to constantly manage the sales team. Maybe you found, hey, if you focus more on client acquisition, you'll be able to grow your own personal business a lot faster. And that's what I've done. Like, as I've continued in this business, I've been able to bring on a marketing guy. I brought on a head of sales to manage the teams that I run. That way I can really just focus on my clients and doing the high level needle moving activities. So systemize your business like it's a business, because it is, right? Don't just get so caught up in being a CEO for your clients, right? Focus on your business, and you have to be selfish, right? Go where the money's at and build your business to actually scale. It's very possible for you to hit 7 figures through this model. I can assure you, because I've done it for myself in just 13 months. Now, I want to show you guys what it looks like to actually win at a high level in this model. So I'm going to break down what I've done for some of my clients. Anthony Nucci, my first ever client, he's a real estate coach, and he helps people sell more real estate or become a better real estate agent. I signed him actually by complete fluke. I sent a DM to him, it got his attention, and sure enough, I got on a sales call with him and closed him. Now, in my first 30 days working with him, he could never break past $15,000 per month. So what I did is I injected these exact processes that I just went over. In our first 30 days working together, I brought him to $96,000 per month in revenue, and I brought home a payout of $19,600 from my first ever client. Right now, month 2, we got him to $135,000 in a single month. And by month 3 working with him, our first 90 days, we got him to $213,000 in revenue. And I took home a payout of $32,000 from my first ever client in my first ever 90 days, all from using the exact same systems and processes that I've just broken down for you. Now, looking past just Anthony Nucci, I also signed MomFX like I've talked about in this video. And when I first took him on, he was doing $32,000 per month. Right, my first 30 days working with him, injecting these processes, I took him to $396,000 in revenue and took home a payout of over $70,000. This was a gold mine client for me, and it changed everything for me. Anytime you can get a client to pay you $70,000 plus for 30 days of your work, you're gonna completely break through and your life is gonna change in ways that you could never even imagine. But it didn't just stop there. I've worked with people like Sire Abram who run Vantage Trading. When I first started working with him, he couldn't break past $44,000 in a month. In our first 28 days working together, we helped him cash collect $188,000, contracting $260,000 in revenue, all on a 20% rev share. You do the math. I took home an insane payout in just 28 days from Sire Abram. Or someone like Kayla, who was only selling low ticket. I brought her on, and in my first 5 days launching our high ticket program for her, I helped her generate $98,000 in cash at a 20% rev share, and I made over $18,000 in my first 5 days working with her. This is an insanely lucrative model. It's changed my life forever, and I got into it by complete accident. And if I can achieve these results for my clients with the exact same processes that I've just handed to you, you absolutely can too. You don't need to overcomplicate this model. It's very easy as long as you stay true to what you know and you go out there and you just apply complete action into the marketplace. It's an exploding industry, and these people literally need you to go out there and help them sell more of their digital product. Now, I want you guys to understand as well, I'm not an anomaly, right? I'm not the only person that can win in this model. I have students that are absolutely crushing it, right? Like Gus, who replaces $25,000 per month income in 48 hours, closing 2 rev share deals, and he's now on pace to make $45,000 in a single month. Or Tag, who in his first 32 days closed a $10,000 setup fee and locked in a 15% rev share on a business that already does $10 million a year. You do the math. Or Sami, an 18-year-old who closed $16,000 in setup cash for his business in his first 2 weeks inside the program. Or Shenjay, a high school senior who I work with typically on coaching calls when he's in his history class of his senior year, and he's closed 4 clients in his first 4 weeks inside of the reserve, all through these acquisition methods, all through these fulfillment processes. Or Adam, who left his longtime corporate role and in first 30 days closed 9 rev share clients, and he's now on track to make over $30,000 in a single month after previously being a corporate slave. Guys, this model is the peak of leverage, and anybody can do it as long as they stay true to what they know and they apply these repeatable systems in this exploding industry. So look, the information in this video genuinely has the power to transform your business. So I hope you've gotten to the end, you've taken some notes, and you're walking away with some value. But now you're left with 2 choices. You can either take all the stuff that I've learned, try and figure it out on your own, spend the time, money, and stress trying to figure it out piece by piece while running into all the problems that you're guaranteed to face if this is your first time through. Or you can choose to learn from an expert that's achieved 7-figure results from this exact playbook so you can get it right the first time. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, if this is your first time running this model, you're going to need help. There's a lot more that goes into this business model. Even if you already have your first client, you still need to learn how to deliver results at the highest level, because that's how you get paid. That's why I want you to click the first link in the description to learn more about what it would look like to work with me directly. This is for you if you want to skip all the headache and stress of trying to figure it out on your own, and you want to get it right the first time, working alongside people that have done this at the highest level and have achieved 7-figure results. So if that's you, click the link, watch the video, and I'll speak to you soon. But I want you to like this video so you can easily find it again, and subscribe to the channel for more videos on how to build revenue systems partnerships in 2025. I'll speak to you soon. Peace.